Hi everyone. This video is going to be Fibularis, Longus, and Brevis. And these are on page 376 in your textbook. Let's do this. Fibularis, Longus, and Brevis. These terms are fairly recent. In previous versions of this book, and in fact, previous versions of anatomy texts in general, these muscles were called peroneus, longus, and brevis. And you will hear me switch back into peroneus, longus, and brevis quite frequently. My brain is still not quite used to fibularis, longus, and brevis. They are interchangeable, so it really doesn't matter which one you use. In fact, says right here, known as peroneus, longus, and brevis. So there you go. Fibularis longus and fibularis brevis are on the lateral side of the leg. Here they are, right here. For the most part, these are strong everters of the foot, and they also can plantar flex. If you evert your foot at all, you can feel fibularis longus and brevis engage. They are not the only two muscles there, but they're the most superficial ones, so they're very easily palpable. As you can imagine, fibularis longus is the longer one, and fibularis brevis is the shorter one. It is difficult to pick them out separately until you get to their tendons. And I'll explain that in just a second when we talk about origin and insertion. Okay, so just to give you an idea of their origins, they are pretty long. You know, it covers most of the fibula, which is why it's called fibularis, longus, and brevis. Okay, and there's brevis right here. The word peroneal or peroneus means pin or buckle. And you, in olden times, as my daughter would say, you'd have to pin up your socks or buckle, have a buckle around your pant leg and your sock right about here, if you were a male. So it was in fashion at that time. You know, socks didn't have elastic. That was not a thing back then. So in order to hold your socks up, you had to pin them to something, or you had to actually have a buckle that went around your calf. So that's where peroneus comes from. All right, let's talk about the origins and insertions of these. So for fibularis longus, the origin is the head of the fibula and the proximal 2/3 of the lateral fibula. Okay, that makes sense given what we saw. The origin of fibularis brevis is the distal 2/3 of the lateral fibula. So you can easily figure these out or remember them in that longus obviously is longer, but it originates more superior. So it's going to be the proximal 2/3. And there's your fraction in there, so you can write that out. And then the brevis, of course, is shorter, so it originates on the distal 2/3 of the lateral fibula, of course. So back up to longus. As far as the insertion is concerned, the insertion wraps around the bottom of the foot, okay? So it inserts on the base of the first metatarsal and the medial cuneiform. Base of the first metatarsal and the medial cuneiform. So I'm going to show you this picture right here. I wish I could have this all on the screen at once, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Make this a little bigger though. Okay. So here's the base of the first metatarsal, and there's the medial cuneiform. So what we're saying, here's my foot. This is the lateral side of the foot. You can tell because there's the tuberosity at the fifth metatarsal. We're saying that this muscle comes down the lateral side of the leg here, wraps around the lateral malleolus, goes under the foot, comes all the way across here, and then inserts the base of the first metatarsal and the medial cuneiform. This helps make almost like a stirrup under the foot. And because of the insertion at the medial aspect of the foot, the whole muscle is going to pull the foot this way. So my hand is going to be the muscle, bloop, bloop, like that, into eversion. Remember, eversion is when the sole of the foot points laterally. Eversion. Okay, inversion is the opposite. Inversion is when the sole of the foot points towards the midline of the body. Eversion, inversion. Okay, so we just said that it everts the foot. Yes, these are strong everters. They can also assist to plantar flex the ankle. As I mentioned in previous videos, the strong plantar flexors are gastrocnemius and soleus. We're also going to have a couple of others that are on the posterior leg, but assist to plantar flex the ankle, sure, but they're not very strong plantar flexors. Fibularis brevis is the same. It everts the foot, assists to plantar flex the ankle. Not a strong plantar flexor. This one, however, is much shorter than its longer brother. Remember, we said that it originates on the distal 2/3 of the lateral fibula. This one also wraps down around the lateral malleolus and then inserts on the tuberosity of the fifth metatarsal. Tuberosity of the fifth metatarsal. So I had mentioned that these are more difficult to palpate individually just because they sit sort of right on top of each other until you get down to the tendons. When we palpate in class, we're going to evert the foot and you will be able to see the tendon of Fibularis brevis all the way to the tuberosity of the fifth metatarsal. It's pretty cool. The other tendon is going to disappear as it dives down under the foot, but you will be able to see the whole Fibularis brevis tendon. It's kind of unusual. We don't usually see the entire tendon of a muscle, but in this case we can. So like I said, these are strong everters of the foot. The tendons are superficial. They wrap down around the lateral malleolus. Let's take a look at them over here. My visible body makes everything so skinny. Oh, goodness. Okay. So here's Fibularis longus or peroneus longus, whatever you want to call it. And this one is Fibularis brevis. For some reason, we're not. Alrighty, that's fine. No big deal. One of the things I do want you to see, I'm going to make this a lot bigger, and I'm going to show this right here. We have these, they almost look like tape, and they function a lot like tape also in the body. They are called retinacula. Singular is retinaculum, and you have them at the ankles and at the wrists. These retinacula hold tendons down, hold them in place, and separate them from other structures. If I swing this guy around for a second, you can see here and here and here and here. Uh-oh. No. Go away. There we go. All right. I got too close to the edge of my screen and it started bringing something else up. Sorry about that. These right here and here, those are the extensor retinacula. And on the back, there's more. Oh dear, can't see those right now. because they're on the other side. Over here, we have extensor retinacula. And all of these retinacula, again, that's plural, all of them hold tendons in place. So they act like little pieces of tape in there. And you can see that these retinacula hold the tendons of the peroneals down, right? The tendons go right next to each other, and these lovely retinacula hold them in place as they make their way to their insertions. So I think that's pretty cool. I just wanted to show you those. They are in your book as well. Retinacula themselves are on page 403. And I think I am going to have another video that talks about the ligaments, retinacula, and structures around the foot and ankle, because there are a lot of them. But for now, we're going to end this video. Have a nice day.